All right, guys. Brandon with On Demand Wellness here, and I'm really excited that we have Karina with KO Hydration and Wellness. And we're going to talk about her journey and getting started in the wellness industry, what got her to do that, and then hurdles and obstacles she had to overcome, her experience with our program, On Demand Wellness, and just advice to me she might have for others. So, Karina, you want to give us a quick, just one-on-one on you and just about you and what you've done so far and how you got started?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, I'm Karina, and I've been a nurse for a little over 8 years now with an extensive background. And basically, I had been interested in starting my own IV hydration wellness business for a couple of years. I had actually reached out to Brandon a few times over the past 2 years and just never had the courage to jump into it. I think finally what helped me step into doing it was if I'm being quite frank and honest, I think as most of us that are nurses know, I had a bad experience at a hospital, and I think I was just ready to take that leap of faith and um, create a environment that was better for myself, not only for myself, but for a team that I was going to create a better environment for a team and create a very open and welcoming environment for patients and clients. And that was ultimately my door that opened up, and I ran through it. And it's worked out really well so far now that I'm 5, 6 months into it.
Awesome. Okay, so you said so you reached out to me. If I remember this, you reached out a few different times. We chatted on social media. What were some of the things that went through your head when you wanted to do it, but something like what was holding you back, or was it fear, or was it just the unknown? Like, what were the things that we know that something obviously happened somewhere you're working, kind of you're like, okay, it's time to do this. But what were some of those things you thought or emotions you felt as you were trying to get yourself to do it?
It was definitely fear of that one that I couldn't do it. Honestly, knowledge. Like I really didn't think that I knew what to do. Like I had a lot of well, what am I supposed to do now? And I didn't realize before I had spoke to you or the times that I had spoken to you that everything was set up for you to succeed, right? Like every step was there. And in my mind, because I didn't ask questions, it was like I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to go through. How am I supposed to get a medical director? What am I supposed to do? Like I genuinely just didn't know. So that was one of the things. I think the other thing was yes, fear that I would start this and put money into this and then it would just fail and then I wouldn't do good. And I put all this money into a business that wasn't going to do well. So that was another thing. And I think just financially if I was going to be able to survive off of something like this, so you have that comfort of at a hospital no matter what, that for sure paycheck's going to come through, right? So I think that's another thing that just kind of held me back from it.
And I think that holds a lot of nurses back. And not just nurses, but anyone that is going to step out of their comfort zone, because you have to do that to be an entrepreneur, right? If you're going to open a wellness business, if you're going to open a laundromat, if you're going to open any business and actually try to go do that full time, you're going to be an entrepreneur and you have to step outside your comfort zone. So it's really hard when you know every 2 weeks that you're going to get this paycheck coming in, but then you have to be, I'm going to call it a slave, but you have to go to this place and you have to be there from here to here. So first off, pat on the back for doing that, because it's very hard for nurses, let alone anybody, to do that. So, okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. So you worked with us. Obviously, you're still working with us. We helped you get launched. Just give an honest review, like, hey, this is how we started. We used on demand. Kind of talk me through a little bit of the process of how it went for you, and then we'll get into a little bit more about your business.
Okay, so the process with on demand,
Yeah, from
right?
your point of view. Yep.
Okay, so I mean, like I said, that process I didn't realize how easily it was set up. So after I took the leap of faith with you and I mean, you answered a lot of my main questions in the beginning. And then I was like, okay, let's do this. I signed up. And then it literally felt like the business or y'all's business held my hand through every single process. Like it was, okay, first you got to get this done. And once you do this, then this is the next step. And then this is the next step. And then the videos for the training, because, going in from a different field of nursing into this, it's like, okay, do I even know what I'm going to do with this? Like the training sets you up for it. It sets you up to succeed. It sets you up with all the education that I needed. I mean, it had all the protocols, like step by step. So it literally was set up for me to succeed because it was step by step. If I didn't know how to get through something, I would speak to somebody, whether it was Andy or yourself, and they answered the questions to help me move on to the next step. And it just got me from beginning to the end. And then once I got to the end, obviously I still have questions here and there that I still get answers to. Somebody's always there to answer a question. And I figure it out some way or another because y'all do have a team that's established to helping us continue succeed. It's not just like all right, we got you through it, kicked me out the door, and then made me figure it out by myself for the rest of the way. No, I still have the support even 6 months into this.
Awesome. So, real quick, just go through a quick list of what services do you all do at your KO hydration location.
So mine's a little different. So I did start obviously like the IV hydration side of the services. So all the protocols that come with on demand, I do all of that. Plus, the weight loss that y'all do. I wanted to incorporate something a little different just because I live in a small community and there's not a lot here as options for like shopping and wellness. So I partnered up with Randy from Complete Health from Amarillo, and I sell a lot of his products. So I do all the sweat ethic products. So I'm able to provide all the good things that still work really well, together with the services that I offer on the IV side of things. And even my weight loss, I encourage them to start greens, for like the weight loss program and just things like that. So I offer all of that. I sell like bucked up products for like my people that like to work out. I sell salud products, which are help with like immunity, hydration, sleeping, energy as well. So I offer all of that. And then I'm actually in the process of still growing. I'm gonna buy the rest of my building and make it basically like a co-op, make like a full-on med spa. So I'm gonna have a massage therapist, hopefully eventually a chiropractor, hopefully eventually a private practice where she does her own like family practice on the other side, like separate from me, but we're in the same building. Um, and then have other things like lash tech, nail tech, Botox and filler nurse, esthetician, waxing. So just kind of like all around, you're gonna feel good when you leave our building.
Yeah. So, like full fledged wellness med spa. I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
and really even more than that when you add in someone that's doing the private or doing the actual general health over there as well. So that's great. So,
yes,
okay.
yes.
So, give me a couple things. This is your first business?
This is my first business.
Okay.
Yes.
So, give me a couple things. They could have been hard lessons, good lessons that since you got into this, you've been in now, as you said, 5 to 6 months. So, what are a couple
Mhm.
lessons that you've learned that either you were like, man, I wish I'd have known this in the beginning, or it's like, man, I've just learned this from experience I've gained in 5 to 6 months so far being in this business.
Um, okay, so first and foremost for sure is making sure you have some type of like accountant or someone that can handle those type of things because those little things that kind of came up along the way like paying taxes, your sales tax, your city taxes, and then like figuring out like because now that I've hired employees, obviously, at this point, we took off running. I wasn't expecting it to be that way. I really thought it was going to be myself and a paramedic that I hired that we are going to do it for 6 months together. And then the first month in, I had to hire people because it just took off so fast. So, how to get employees, figure out payroll, figure out like setting all of those things up that you have to set up on the legal side of things. So having someone that has really good knowledge of that to make sure you're set up properly from the beginning. So definitely that making sure like we're keeping up with like profit and loss and QuickBooks and just so that you're a little more organized. So that one was a biggie for me is making sure you have some type of person like that that's going to help you with it if you're not like savvy with those things. Another thing is inventory. Like
Okay.
I didn't know honestly like exactly what I needed or wanted to order, so I ordered everything. My first go around, I ordered everything and a lot of everything. And I ended up having to waste a lot of things, a lot of my medications went bad my first go around. And there's a lot of supplies that I ordered that I realized I don't use. So, figuring that out. And we've had a nurse sign up that was under me now, like that I helped sign up, and like I want to help her through that. So she's coming actually tomorrow where I'm gonna be like, hey, this is what you need. How much of this? Don't order this. You need this. You for sure won't use this. So things like that. But I think mainly the big part of it was having like some type of financial person involved too that's gonna help with a lot of those things.
Yeah, that's great advice. Because, and I think one of the things to highlight here, a lot of times when we want to start something, we want to try to know every piece, which is impossible because things are going to come up in
Mm-hmm.
business that you're not going to know. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the big things about being an entrepreneur is like sometimes the most important thing is action, right? It's just moving towards the thing that you want to accomplish and knowing that some of
Mm-hmm.
these other things are going to pop up like, oh, I got to track my numbers. I got to know my, you know, profit and loss in my statements. Oh, I ordered too much. I got to figure out
Yes.
my quotas on how much I need to order. Oh, how do you have an employee? Like, what do I do for that, right? And then I got to figure that piece out. So
Mm-hmm.
I think these are all these and many more. I mean, at different points in our business, we're going to come to different things that it's like we have to learn something new, and it's always going to be on you as the entrepreneur, the leader of your company, your business, your staff, to be the person to figure that out. Now, there's tons of resources obviously out there, but you have to take the
Yes.
action to get that thing done. So, um, awesome on that. So, okay, so let's talk about you got busy really fast, but I know it didn't just happen by you like praying or snapping your fingers and it just happened. So give me a couple things that you did to get business, like just some simple basic things like, hey, this is what I figured out early worked. Maybe one or two things you're like, this didn't work. Like, let's go through that.
So I'm huge on social media. I love social media. I think the time of day that we are in right now, or the time in general that we're in, it's big on social media. Everybody's LinkedIn. So I immediately made business pages for everything. I have a Facebook page, I have Instagram, I have a Snapchat, we have a TikTok, we have everything. And you you target different audiences through each type of different social media. So our main one that we do most of our announcements through is mainly Facebook, but a lot of people love the videos. They love to see the videos. That's where they really engage. So that's kind of where we really started. I started making a lot of videos, sharing kind of like different infusions, what we offered, the weight loss stuff, just stuff like that, where it really kind of brought people's attention just to kind of start grabbing people. And then I think with us being a small community and it was just something different, it really grabbed attention to other sources. Like we had Ruben on the Road from News Channel 10 come in
Hmm.
and kind of do an interview with us. And then I did a different podcast that he used to live here in my small town. So just kind of putting myself out there and being like, I had to step out of that comfort zone and be social on social media
Yeah.
and really just share information. And that's really helped a lot. So once that kind of took off, then the word of mouth took off. So that helped. And then I truly believe that my pricing helped, honestly, because I did price a lot of my stuff a little lower than most places in the area. And even though I'm not making as much per sale or whatever it may be, it draws in more people because even if it's a little bit more or a little more discounted than areas surrounding it attracts people. So it started bringing people in. I mean, I'm having people travel from over an hour and a half to come to my location.
Right. So, okay. So a couple things I want to tear a piece there in which the first one is putting yourself out there. Like, I think that's really hard for a lot of entrepreneurs getting into business because not everybody's just like outgoing and just chatty Cathy and like you have to be, right. You have to. One of the
Hmm.
favorite things that I like to tell everybody is like when you start your business, it starts with your phone, right? It starts with everybody you know telling them, hey, I have this business. This is how I can help you with this problem, or I solve this issue, or help you feel better, or whatever the case may be. you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And
Yes.
just the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I can tell you this, like for any of you listening, go look at Karina's videos because I love them. I've already asked her to use a couple of them just because I think she's great on camera. And you can tell she spent a little bit of time on there. And I will tell you that every time I see a video, I feel like you get better and better just because you're putting the reps in. And I think for
Yeah.
anybody, if we think about ourselves personally, because we all have to watch ourselves on our phones and social media and not getting too lost in that sometimes. But think about us, how we get entertained. If I think about me personally, videos, I tend to watch videos more than I'll even read what it says because it's entertainment, right? Whether it's about
Yes.
something funny or it's a product or something else, the more that uh, it engages with me in a video, the more that I'm actually going to pay attention to what's going on. And it's the same
Hmm.
thing with what we're talking about here with your wellness business because as crazy as it sounds, a lot of people still don't know you can even do this, like do IV therapy outside of a hospital, or get these vitamin injections. They just don't know, especially in a small town, like
Hmm.
that you're in. So I think it's
Yeah.
very important on social media, doing local events, getting involved with the news is huge because they reach a ton of people. So I think all these things are great. The thing that I'll tell everybody is you've probably heard me say this, Karina, but my favorite phrase when it comes to any business, but the wellness business in general, is hey, market or die. Like, if you aren't marketing, your business is just slowly dying. And
Hmm.
I've seen it in my past as I was learning and going through. This is back when I used to own a gym. We would market and things would go well, and you'd see sales start doing this, and you get busy with stuff in your office. You quit marketing, and next thing you know, you plateau, and then you start going down. And it's like, oh, I forgot, I got to continue to marketing, and it's that whole cycle. So the more consistent you stay with marketing and test, because marketing is another word for testing, really, is what you're doing. Is this going to work or not? And realizing if it doesn't work, that's okay. Either change up how you did it or do something else. But that's a
Yes.
consistent, all the time thing. So, okay, now let's go over just a couple things that you plan to do in the future with your business. Now that you're at the point where you're having some success, you've added in different services and products. Um, what are just a couple plans that you plan to do with KO Hydration and Wellness in the future?
I mean, besides like what we had talked about already, like becoming basically a co-op, I my goal obviously is to hire a few more nurses. I mean, that's ultimately my goal to where I can have the nurses really doing their own thing here, have a nurse that's specifically Botox and filler, stuff like that. But I eventually would like to expand and offer even more services. I know there's different medical directors that allow you to do even more. And as I do more research on a lot of the stuff that we offer, I mean, it's crazy, like the amount of things that are out there that can help people that are just so natural. So I do plan to add more to the business that offers more of the wellness. Like I would love to have like hyperbaric chambers and
Yeah.
those machines. I know the name, but I can't think of it. Like the ones that help with like the loose skin and all of that stuff. Like I eventually would love to add all of that red light therapy, everything. Like I just want more and more and more different options, different things.
And I think, so for everybody listening, I think this is a great example. If you look at what Karina did, she first off, oh, let's see, there she's back. She's back. We lost her for a second. So first off,
Sorry.
um, no, you're good. You're good. So I want you to think about Karina's journey, and every one of you out there that are listening, you're probably either somewhere in this journey or you might be farther ahead. But if you're in that journey, if you haven't started yet, so you have to overcome the fear. You have to take a leap of
Yes.
faith, number one, to hop out of your comfort zone and start something. Whether you're going to do it as a side gig and your goal is to grow it, or you're going all in and you're going to do this thing. That's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is you got to do what it takes to get money coming in. Let's be honest, right? To get revenue in your business. I mean, that's probably going to be long hours. I bet you Karina's done a lot of long hours. I know I have in my business, especially starting out, because you have
Yes.
to, right? You have to grind. You have to get it going, and then you really focus on systems and processes, right? Because you don't want to do everything in your business, but that's how you got to start typically. Now, You've started, you've gotten successful, you've gotten revenue coming in, you're doing well, but you didn't spread, you've learned some lessons, but you didn't spread yourself too thin initially. Like, okay, I'm going to start with 30 services. You started with a couple services, then you added some products, and now you're even looking at buying more in your building. Like, so you're doing this step by step, and I think that is so smart when you grow a business because you don't want to put too much, but you do want to have growth and you do want to have things that you're working towards. So everyone
Mm-hmm.
that's out there, I would encourage you to identify where you're at in that process and look at the
Mm-hmm.
next step, and that's what you focus on. You just keep focusing on the next step each time. I think one of my favorite quotes that my first business coach ever told me, I remember going to him and I was so overwhelmed. I was like, oh, I got to market, I got to do the cleaning, I have to do the sales, and like I had all this stuff. And he's like, listen, dude, he said, how do you eat an elephant? I was like, dude, I don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean, how do I eat an elephant? He's like, listen, if I ever told you you had to eat an elephant, you'd eat it one bite at a time. It's the same thing with your business when you're trying to accomplish things. If you'll just do one bite at a time, you will make a lot of progress over time. So, all right. So let's end with this. I want you to think about all these nurses or estheticians or anybody, right, that's wanting to start a wellness business and they haven't started yet.
Yes.
What's some advice or encouragement you could give them to help them get over that hump so they can go have some success like you're having now?
Definitely. Like, I actually told this to some of the women that I've spoken to recently that have thought about doing it. And one thing I can say is, you know, when you grow in discomfort. You grow when step in with faith, when, you just have to like lead with faith. And that's where you grow. That's where a lot of things happen. And, um, you know, when you do something out of, what is it? How would I say? Like, you're everything's fearful, right? You have fear in everything, especially things that are out of your comfort zone. And but that's where you see the most success is when you take that step of faith and be like, okay, let's do this, and just do it. Step out of that comfort zone for sure. Um, I can definitely say that, a lot of us nurses that have been doing nursing for a while that went through like COVID years, I think a lot of us were really messed up through COVID, and it really took that love away from nursing. And I can definitely say that my love for my nursing career has come 100% back now that I've been in this business and doing what I'm doing because I just have autonomy and I'm helping people feel good, and you're gonna love that. You're gonna love to see the reaction of people of coming in the next week and telling you, "Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Thank you. Like I could have gone to the ER, but I came to you instead," or whatever it may be. So I definitely, my biggest one is it's scary. Yes. Is it going to be hard? Yes. Are you going to have to make sacrifices? Yes. But anything that you do when you sacrifice all of those things, it's gonna be worth it 100%. And it has been for me. Like, I live in a small community, just to put into perspective. My population in my town is 4,000, a little over 4,000, and my business has skyrocketed. It's done so well because the more love you put into it, the more work you put into it, and the more people you bring onto your team to help you, it's gonna do it. It's gonna do well because people want to feel good. It's something that is always going to be needed. So it's not something that's gonna go away. So take that leap of faith and don't, I mean, even if you're scared, go for it. Because what's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work. Okay, try something different. But what's the best thing that can happen? It works and you're successful and you just keep growing and growing and growing. And you would have never known if you didn't take the leap of faith.
I love that. That is such great advice. Karina, guys, if you are wanting to see some great social media, Karina, give us a couple of your favorite ones on if it's your TikTok or your Facebook. Like, give us a couple real quick so everybody can go look you up.
So on TikTok, we're just KO Hydration Wellness. I think it's like the same everywhere, just KO
Okay,
Hydration and Wellness. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, I think even Snapchat, they all pull up the same KO Hydration and Wellness. I think except the and sign, it's the actual word and wellness.
got it. Okay,
So, and if you look it up, you'll see it. And I like to incorporate like some fun videos in there too, where it's not just about, because people like it engages people. Like we're fun. People love our culture. They like our attitudes. They like our bright personalities when they walk through our doors, and that's a big thing too. It brings people back when you share that with them. So yeah, go check it out for sure.
Yep, love it. Karina, this has been great. We're excited. We're gonna do this again, probably like we'll say 5 6 months down the road because we can't wait to see where
Okay.
you're at that time. But keep
Yeah.
rocking it, guys. If you do need help, anyone out there, if you're looking at starting your wellness business, or if you've already started, maybe you need help with checking your compliance or you want to look at some different options, definitely reach out ondemandwellness.com. You can find me on Facebook, Brandon Jones. Look for the Aledo is the town I'm in. Also, premieriv.com. I have locations as well. And thank you, Karina, for being here with us today. And we just hope you have a
Yes.
wonderful day. We can't wait to see where you go.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you so much.